بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين. I hope you're all doing wonderful on this blessed month of Ramadan, this blessed night. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fasting until now. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the recitation of our imams, to accept the deeds that we've been doing this month. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to seek out the reward of the last 10 nights of Laylatul Qadr and to make us of those who enter Jannah for those we already accept. It's truly an honor, alhamdulillah, to be speaking in front of you today. My name is Farid Fahumi, and I'm representing the organization Miss New Jersey. Some of you may have heard of it before. And the way I would describe the organization is that it is an organization run by the youth and for the youth. So it's an organization catered around youth, centered around the youth, aiming to empower them. And this itself, the letters, MIST, stands for Muslim Interscholastic Tournament. And that probably doesn't mean that much to most of you if you don't know what interscholastic means. And inshallah, today I'm going to try and describe the organization to you and encourage you all, inshallah, to generously donate, to become involved in the organization and to appreciate the value that it gives to the youth across New Jersey. You see, right now we live in a time, and I think most of us would agree, that when someone says something, or we hear like masjid boards or schools, all of these different people, they're always talking about the youth, the youth, the youth. We hear a lot of people say, we have to empower our youth, we have to give them more, we have to cater to them, so on and so forth, right? And my favorite is that people say we have to empower the youth. And these are all amazing things, these are all good things. But then when push comes to shove, when it's actually time to empower the youth, to give them opportunities to do something, to give them responsibilities, so on and so forth, we fall short. We're saying things with our tongues, but we're not actually doing them in practice. We're saying, hey, let's empower the youth, but when it actually comes down to it, we're not doing that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Saf, I'm not sure if our events will be reciting from Surah Saf today or not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the second ayah, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. Why do you say what you do not do? كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِندَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. That this is indeed a hateful thing in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we should really avoid saying things and not doing them. And with that being said, alhamdulillah, I can confidently say that this is an organization which actually goes the extra mile in trying to empower the youth. And there's this nice saying that I read recently, alhamdulillah, and it goes, it's a Chinese proverb, I believe, and it's talk doesn't cook rice. You can memorize that already. Talk doesn't cook rice. And what does that mean? That means when someone comes, or when your mom asks you to go make rice, you go downstairs, you put the cup of rice in the pot, and you just leave it there, and you start talking to the rice. You're like, you're going to become biryani. You're going to become mensef. You're going to become kebsa, or whatever rice you're making. But you don't decide to turn on the fire. You don't decide to put it in the boiling water. You don't decide to add the spices. You're just talking to it. Talk doesn't cook rice. At the end of the day, if we want to empower our youth, if we want to truly give them opportunities, we have to throw them into the boiling water. We have to give them the opportunity to absorb what's around them, to take on the responsibilities of this world so that they can grow, so that they can develop, so that we can grow, so that we can develop. And this is something that Miss NJ seeks to do. And how do we do this? It does so in a very unique way. And I'd argue, and obviously I might be a little bit biased, but I'd argue that there's no other organization that caters to the youth and develops them in the same way that Miss New Jersey does. Why? Because there's a unique property of this, in that we have the participants, the actual event itself is a tournament, where competitors, high school students specifically, can compete in different competitions like Quran and academics and sports and other things. So we have it from that aspect that we're catering to the youth on that end as the service itself, but the ones who are providing the service, the organizers, the ones who go out of their way to take their time to start this event throughout the entire year, it's also developing them as youth because they're college students only. Right? They're also very young, and it gives them responsibilities. It's throwing them into the boiling water, allowing them to do that. I don't want to take up too much time, but I just have a few more things to share, inshallah. And so, not only does I mentioned competitions, right? That we have Quran memorization, so on and so forth. And one of the ways to actually empower youth is to give them things like competitions. We can ask our imams, I'm sure they've said, if they're reviewing, for example, for Tarawih, and you're reviewing by yourself and there's no pressure, it's very easy, right? And then you start reciting to your shaykh and you might be making a couple more mistakes. But then when you're actually in front of this entire crowd and you're in what I would consider a more higher stress environment, all of a sudden it becomes more difficult and you have more pressure and it's more opportunity for you to grow and develop. Whereas if you're just reviewing on your own the whole time, it's not as easy to do that, right? And there's benefits in both of them. But when it comes to competitions, when you put your youth in places where they have to show their talents, when they have to show their ability, when they have to show competency in a specific thing, all of a sudden, they have that drive, that motivation to start doing something good, to have confidence in themselves, to build their own character. And so from the competition aspect, we have that. But this also has programs where we have speakers come, prominent speakers who can talk to our youth. And like I said before, talk doesn't cook rice. But when you have that and you couple it with giving them autonomy, with giving students the ability to perform, all of a sudden that talk becomes more and more meaningful, and it actually gives them the opportunity to do things. And the last thing I wanted to mention before I conclude with the passage from the Quran today, the last thing I wanted to mention was that the company that you build at this, the people who you meet, those who you talk to, whether it's people who are older than you or younger than you, all of those people truly shape who you are, and we know the value of good company, of being in virtuous company. And so alhamdulillah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be a part of virtuous company. And I just wanted to end with a short reminder, inshallah, for us from the Quran today, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us to be charitable. And alhamdulillah, actually, subhanAllah, the first ayah that we shared today is not the other ayah I was thinking of, but in the Musaddiqeen and the Musaddiqat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the charities from Surah Al-Hadid, I believe. Right? إن المصدقين والمصدقات وأقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا يضاعف لهم ولهم أجر كريم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that those who are charitable from the men and women and who belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them a great reward, a noble reward, and that reward is paradise. So the ayah that I want to remind us of today was in light of giving, in light of understanding what our money is. And I apologize if I conclude with this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Munafiqun, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا. And when we hear this, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, we should be very attentive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking directly to you and me. Oh, you who believe. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. All of us can testify to that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking directly to us. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله ومن يفعل ذلك فأولئك هم الخاسرون. O you who believe, do not let your wealth and your money distract you from what? From the remembrance of Allah. How can our money distract us from the remembrance of Allah? When we look at our money and we don't realize that this is an opportunity for us to get reward. That we have the opportunity to give it, but rather we're using it to buy games, or to just buy food, or to just go and spend it on ourselves. It's an opportunity. Every single dollar that we have, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes this money very specifically in the next ayah. But every dollar that we have is an opportunity for us to get reward, especially in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the next ayah? وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. How does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describe the money? وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say your money, He says from what He provides for you. This money is not ours. It's just our opportunity to use it to get reward. That's what we should think of money as. And money circulates constantly. And when it's in our quote-unquote possession, it is our opportunity to use it for good. وَأَنفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُم مِّن قَبْلِ أَن يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولُ. And when death comes to the one, what do they say? فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delayed me just for a little bit. Why? فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُن مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. So that I may give money. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing a situation where someone death comes to them. And what are they saying in that moment? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delayed my time a little bit so that I may what? So that I may donate. You have the opportunity to donate right now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us this opportunity in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Ask yourself, what is preventing you from donating today? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finishes the surah. وَلَن يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not delay anyone. I'm paraphrasing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of everything we do. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our deeds from us. I apologize for taking more time. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our deeds from us, to accept our way, to allow our hands to continue to lead us and to give us generous hearts and pious company and righteous company. وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم ورحمة الله وبركاته.